He's going to find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So New York in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
And I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the out pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. Definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin, Burma down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's all about the entertainment, so I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tower Racing Ring Runners GTE's Round 8 here this evening. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by Tom Cairns this evening for this 4-lap epic evening of racing. You're going to hold on to your hat, sit back, relax as you see some classic GTE go running around the Nordschleife here as well. It's the Nordschleife Sprint Circuit plus the Mercedes Arena this evening, and it's going to be very, very interesting. We'll bring you up the scores as we always do after the broadcast, so you can see who will be up and running. Round 9 will be recorded on Thursday, and we'll go live Thursday night. But for tonight, it is round 8. Let's bring Tom into the booth. Tom, how are you, dear? Welcome in.
Hello, James. Hello to everyone. Yes, the Nordschleife. Who cannot like the Nordschleife? Unless you're someone who fears death, this is the kind of track for you. 14 miles on this Nordschleife circuit. Was once on the Formula 1 calendar, not so anymore. Although the Nurburgring, the more sort of Nurburgring circuit that the younger generation are familiar to, it's still around, but not hosting Formula 1 either, unfortunately. But we've still got some quality track action in this tail racing championship of GTE, and the drivers have got a long way to go. It's a long lap. There's only 4 laps, but it feels like an eternity each lap that they do. And you can just see they are going off on their formation lap behind the pace car, James. So I'll let you take over proceedings as to who is lining up the way.
Yeah, Rick Putman will be on pole, Pat LaBrosse in second, Jason Hightower third, Corey Stas in fourth, then Evan Crautfield, David Mole fifth and sixth, Patrick Elstrand in seventh, Dave Hernandez eighth, Steve Gabay in ninth, Dan Kosick in 10th, Tim Watcho in 11th, and AJ Condon down in 12th place. Then moving on from that one, Matt Green, Patrick Messick, Alexander Betash, Jamie Bender, Scott Sadler, Benjamin Lamburton and Dylan Hesselink. As per normal, we will show you replays of the incidents and accidents at the end of the race, and we will get this one up and running and ready to go. So great cars in here. The Corvette GTE back, the Ford GTE driven by the hands of Rick Putnam, Jason Hightower in the BMW, the Porsche GTE as well. Classic cars here, Tom, before we get up and running.
Yeah, and the drivers, I'm sure they've been practicing beforehand before this race got underway. And, 147 corners, which I think is more than any other active racetrack of which I know of. But the drivers know how challenging this course is with the amount of undulation involved in this. And, some will be familiar with the track on other game cycles, not just iRacing. So with the field we've got of 19 drivers, it's going to be a matter of who is going to be the survival of the fittest. Whether it's wet or dry, it's about who can handle it and who can't.
Yeah, exactly. We're coming into Tiergarten now before we go running down that finish straight into turn 1. We're just waiting for the pace car to peel off, which he will be doing very, very shortly. Putnam's in the lead, LaBrosse, Stas in third, Hightower fourth, Mole in fifth. The pace car is going to be going off. There he goes now into that pit lane. Now it's going to be up and running. Now we're going to be green, green, green. You can see the guys gathering up. Putnam's holding them and holding them and holding them. You can see the Fords with their black lines across the front showing lovely on the broadcast. He's held them for so long. Now we're off and running. Now it's all up and going, and it is Rick Putnam out in front at this moment in time. Pat LaBrosse sitting in second place. They're 3 wide further back there. Corey Stas and also Jason Hightower, but it is Rick Putnam get the jump right at the beginning. There's been an incident at the back. Scott Sadler, Benjamin Lambert and Alexander Betash all involved as Betash is round, but it is Pat LaBrosse who takes the lead from Putnam here and got a great start right at the beginning here, Tom, and a splendid job from Pat on that one.
Yes, absolutely, but a long way to go yet, and a lot can still change in a short space of time. And now they're going through the hairpin on the shorter layout of this particular section of the Nurburgring here. We've seen Junior Series use that layout in the past years ago, but LaBrosse doing all he needs to do in the Corvette ahead of Putnam, with Hightower in third place, and it's Crowfold and Stas making up the top 5. 2 Fords in the top 5 as we speak, as they all make their way towards the NGK chicane.
Yeah, they do. They start making their way up now. They're going to be into that Nordschleifer area. You can see in the background, Patrick Matak. It's had a bit of a nightmare. Unfortunately, Matt Green's trying to play catch-up. Putnam's there as well. Engelstad is there. Stas is there. Tim Watcho's just gone round, unfortunately, off the side of the circuit for poor old Tim. He's off as well. It looks like also Pat Labrosse has also taken a trip off the side of the circuit. Pat now, unfortunately, finds himself all the way down in 8th place, but it is Evan Krautfield under attack by Corey Stas. Jason Hightower covering up behind the back of Rick Putnam as they're just about to go on to that straightaway for that run down into Arenberg, and it's going to be seeing who can get the draft here and who can't on this one, and how big and how strong is it actually going to be here.
Well, I wouldn't have expected to be that strong anyway, the draft, because every time a driver tries to get into a draft, there's always either a kink or a corner coming up. So I don't think the draft is going to be that effective here. But what is going to be more focused on is can each of the drivers just get through it without being involved in any form of incident whatsoever. That'll be the emphasis of today's race.
Yeah, you've got Corey Stas running side by side with Evan Krautfield. Down into Arenberg they go, and Evan Krautfield there still losing that position. Unfortunately, Pat Labrosse tried to make it past on Dave Moe, but Pat did not succeed. We've got Scott Sadler. He's chasing down Jamie Bender. Bender coming down now. He's going to be trying to go around Arenberg without any issues. It's corner after coming after such full speed. Alexander Batash in there in the Porsche. He's managing to hold on to 16th place. But it is Rick Putnam and it is Hightower. It is Corey Stas in behind them. How is this all going to work here? It's a very difficult circuit. They want to stay off the curbs in these cars. These cars are not going to love the curbs whatsoever.
No, I don't think they're designed to go over the curbs that are designed around the Nordschleife. They're quite higher, these curbs. So the moment you start riding over them, you just don't really have all the grip or control necessary. I think the outside curbs on the exit of the corners are okay, but it's when you absolutely attack them on the inside, that's when you need to avoid them, really.
Yeah, well, we see Evan Krautfield in that Corvette now, Corey Stas and Jason Hightower in behind them. Coming into the right hand, a quick right hander soon now down the hill into the left hander they go. It looks like Putnam's had a little bit of a trouble. Big lock up from Rick. Now on to Evan. Doing a great job chasing him down. These four breaking away. Corey Stas now trying to attack Hightower through the left hander they go on that run here into Bergwerk. Who's going to be able to get this? Is it going to be Stas? Is it going to be Krautfield? Well, it's very difficult to overtake here, Tom. They've just got to put their car in the middle of the race circuit, and that's it. Nobody else is able to get through.
No, they're heading towards Bergwerk now, as it's a sharp right-hander they are approaching, and the top three seem to be getting through there. We've seen a few changes in position outside the top 10. I think that'll been, is it Hessling that's dropped? Well, I can say that Bender's dropped back behind Betash. Is now in 16th position is Bender, back to where he had started. Looking at who's made the most position, looks like Lambertson's made the most positions, up 7 places from his starting spot. Oh, you can just see there, that's and Hightower going side by side through the kinks of Kesselchen, and it looks like they've made it stick, although you can see Hightower running wide, running close to the Armco, and Stas has placed himself nicely up into the runner-up place.
Yeah, there's 2 Fords at the front of the field here. Are we going to see another one? Oh, Stas is off. Oh, Corey Stas did the hard work and then gets it all the way wrong in that run up into the carousel. Corey Stas goes in too deep there, just gets it all wrong. What about Dave Hernandez? He's got Elkstrad in front of him. He's got Labrosse behind. He's got Mo. He's got Kabai behind that with AJ Condon. We know Labrosse is strong. We know he's trying to recover his way back through here, Tom. It's going to be difficult for Pat Labrosse, but he's got to make it work somehow.
Yeah, well, he's got a long way to go yet still in this one. A lot of corners, 147 corners if you were to include the full layout, although a few corners are missing around the Nurburgring section that's used for the modern day Grand Prix racing. But looking at how many chances he's going to have plenty of chances, there's no doubt.
I do agree. I think Dave Hernandez is going to be under pressure now. LaBrosse is climbing all over the back end of him. You can see him on your screen. He is literally nose to tail here for LaBrosse in through Whipperman down. We're going to be going here into Brucian now. Who's going to be able to make it work? Bender, unfortunately, has been off the side of the circuit again. We will pick up and have a look towards the back end of these ones. But there you go. He's going to try the inside line. He gets the job done. Does Pat LaBrosse, sorry. LaBrosse again in behind Hernandez. Up they go down the other side, hard on the brakes through the right hander now. You've got the run here. It's going to be this run up into Elsker before they go into Flats Garden. And a great job there from Pat LaBrosse. He's now chasing down on Patrick Engstrat for that run all the way down into Clown's Carousel.
Yeah, Bender's the first retirement of the race as well. Looks like he had stopped somewhere on the circuit. Misic looked like he had also stopped, but he's actually still going. Might be some connection issues involving him, but he's still in the race in 18th position. And we see LaBrosse there, right on board with him now inside the cockpit, chasing after Elstrand in the Porsche, LaBrosse in the Corvette.
Yeah, we've got a Ford BMW, we've got a Corvette, we've got a Ford there as well. But here we go with Pat LaBrosse. It is going to be job done. Jobs are good and see you later. Adios. But he's going to pull out. He's going to hit that wall of air. Is he going to be able to get up the inside of that Mercedes? He does. That Corvette showing the beams now. All the way down he goes under the Bilston Bridge very, very shortly. But he's pulled out really early. This is going to allow Elstrap to come back at him. Is Patrick Elstrap going to be able to get back past under the bridge? He's not, I don't think, coming into Tiergarten. I think this is going to be LaBrosse's corner. I think he's going to hold on to it here. He does manage to make it work. Corey Stas is another one that's clumped right on the back of Evan Krautfeld. We've got Benjamin Lamberton with Matt Green, Condon, Sadler in behind that. Cossack coming down now. He's too wide with Tim Watcho. As they're going down under the Burleston into Tiergarten they go. It looks like the dot in the hoe is going to be the one of the main overtaking positions here, Tom. I think even though there's not a massive draft, but the draft is still strong enough here. Get to the likes of Watcho, Cossack, Hesselink, Benjamin Lamberton as well. He's having to go at Matt Green down into turn one. Lamberton on the left, Green on the right. It's going to be hard on the brakes now into turn one. Is Lamberton going to hold it? He does, and he tucks in behind Green. Green gets it done and manages to hold on to the position. But I think, as you say, I think the likes of the dot and the hoe is going to be the main place for these guys.
Yeah, and you can just see they are continuing to settle in. We've got a couple of drivers in the pits with damage, presumably, Batash and Masick. And I don't know whether they'll continue on. I think they may as well, given how much things can change here. But Putnam with a lead of over 3 seconds on Hightower as he comes towards the NGK chicane for the second time. Hightower and Krupfold are still in there. Stas and LaBrosse. Well, LaBrosse is about 4 seconds behind Stas. Stas is in a battle with Krupfold for third place. So it stands, it's Ford, BMW, Corvette, Ford, Corvette, Porsche, BMW, Porsche in the top 8.
Dave Mole in there as well. Right I'll go is Dave. He's in that Porsche scenario there. He's got another Porsche tucked in BMW, sorry, in front of him with Dave Hernandez. Elstrat's in there in the Porsche in front. It's going to be the three. Can Mole make this through? How's he going to make this Porsche work? That's going to be the question over this BMW. Putnam's had an incident. Putnam's in the wall. The lead on the race is facing the wrong way. Oh, Rick Putnam. All that work he's just done there, Tom, gone down the Swanee. Putnam is now dropping down the order and is sitting in 8th place.
Yeah, well, at least he's still in the race. Hopefully he's not sustained too much damage from that. And yeah, that's left him with a lot of work to do now, and that hands the lead over to Hightower, who is continuing to lead by only a couple of seconds. There's still some time left in the race for Putnam to recover, and they've gone around the first lap quicker than I thought they would, in all honesty, so it may not have that much time. As we watch the battle for what is second place, Quadfold and Stas. Stas in the pink livery Ford in the number 20, going after Quadfold, who is in the white livery Corvette with a shade of yellow on the bottom side there, around the sort of corners of the car. But they are going after Hightower, who is leading this one.
Hightower in that BMW, can he make it to the end? We want to make sure that obviously and that his own dramatics as Mr. Hightower this season. Well, so got to be really, really careful and empty in the background. There's the recovering Pat Labrosse in that Corvette. There's another spinner further back as well. That's Elkstrat in, I believe, in the wall. And Dave and Anders, both of them together. There's Dave. There's Patrick. Both of them in the wall. There's another runner wide there. And these two cars recovering in the background. Not good for them, guys. They're dropping down the order. That's 9th and 10th for Elkstrat and Dave Hernandez. Hernandez is still there, but he's running side by side almost with the BMW of Scott Sadler. Sadler can't quite make it through here. I wouldn't count out the likes of Dave Mole, Rick Putnam. Hightower's made a mistake. He's lost the lead. That's put Krautfeld in first place now as well. Nobody wants to lead this race, Tom.
Well, that's the disadvantage of being the leader, because if you're a driver behind them, you can almost use them as like a reference as to when to brake for the next corner. So unless Krautfeld's very, very familiar with this track as to when he needs to brake and turn, the others behind maybe have an advantage over them with over a couple of laps still to go. Putnam is up to 6th now as a result of the incident we saw a moment ago, and Putnam is... Oh, there's an incident!
Corey Stas is round. Another Ford that's just gone round. Stas round, Putnam round. It's just all going wrong for the leaders. Hightower now has got Labrosse side by side. Here, they're on their run as well now, all the way up into the carousel. And but Stas, well, that's Labrosse, sorry, does make it through back into 2nd place after making the errors at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, and that was a sensational overtake. That was from Labrosse going onto the grass there, 2 wheels on the grass to make that overtake in one of the narrowest sections of the course. And now Labrosse has got Krautfeld in his sights of a magnificent win here at the Nordschleife. But Hightower is not going to take that line down, and he'll be back for more, providing he doesn't make any more mistakes.
Well, let's hope they don't. Let's hope Krautfeld don't make any more mistakes either. Let's not forget, you know, the leaders out in front at the moment have all made the mistakes. Labrosse was there, Putnam was there, Stas was getting up towards the lead as well. And now Hightower has obviously been in his fair share as well. So it's looking very, very tasty up the front of this race now. Can Evan Krautfeld, the man who's been on a podium every single race bar one this season? Okay, let's put it this way. Evan Krautfeld's been on the podium every single race. We are at round 8, bar 1. So that's 7 podiums that Evan Krautfeld's had. The only one he missed out on was the GT4. He is Mr. Consistent at this moment in time in this series and is doing a great job. Benjamin Lambert just lost that place to Dave Hernandez. You've got Steve Gabai, Dave Mole, all here as well with Matt Green. Can Krautfeld hold on, right? He's at the front, Tom. Can he hold on now?
Well, I'm looking at Putnam because he was down to 8th after that spin for, I think, in the early stages of the 2nd lap. And now he's back up to 4th place before lap 4 is done. And Hesselink looks like he's encountered problems and he's back in the pits and his race is presumably done. But Krautfeld, brilliant consistency. But this is a different kettle of fish. I think the form book might as well go out of the window because anyone can win this.
Yeah, I agree. I physically agree with you. I think anybody can win this one as well. What's going on with Matt Green and Mr. Kabai? They're nose to tail with the Porsche of Mull in front. And through they go now. These guys battling it out on the run. Oh, he's made a mistake. Kabai's made a mistake. Another Ford. Making a mistake there, running wide for Steve Gabai. Is it just a Ford thing we're seeing now? As well, it looks like Labrosse has passed Hightower, and Hightower is now tucked in behind him.
Yeah, well, I think the reason why Gabai went off the grass and made that mistake was because he caught the curb a few kinks beforehand, and he was well out of shape. So it's not necessarily a Ford thing that was the issue. It's just the fact that he took too much curb on the inside, which knocked his momentum quite a long way. And Stas has got back through on Putnam for 4th position now. So Putnam's beginning to struggle before the 2nd lap is out.
Yeah, there is Stas, there is Putnam right in front. You can see them recognisable by the black line on the front of the Ford. It's the 2 Fords together. Mole's in the background. He's got another Ford near him as well, but it is Matt Green and Mole. Kabai's behind that. They're going to be side by side down the bottom. Oh, they go under the bridge, and it is going to be Matt Green in the front here, making that overtake over Dave Mole. Labrosse with Hightower manages to hold on to Labrosse. We're on lap 3 or 4, right? Can he take the lead after? Can he win after making a mistake?
I'm sure he can, although Putnam is in the pits for whatever reason. I don't know if he sustained any damage on the second lap. It could well be a possibility. We're just seeing Mull in the pits as well. Has he had a clout with the wall? Well, we won't know until after the race when the replays are shown, if we do see any of them. But we'll see how this race goes on. But Crawford has got this race under control right now. He may have only have a 2.5 second lead, but he seems to know his way around this circuit.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, he's been on the podium for every race bar one. Has Evan Crouchfield, Mr. Consistent out of this series so far. Can't get on the podium by not being consistent here, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you've got that amount of win, when you're leading the championship going into this, we will bring you the results and the scores up after. And it looks like Wacho and Condon have both had an incident as well. But it's all about Hightower. It's all about Labrosse. Is this going to be pressure from these guys? Are they going to be able to catch up to Crouchfield? Do they fight each other? Do they follow each other? What would you do, Tom?
Well, I think through this section of the course, I think the sensible thing is just only go for it if the driver ahead of you makes a mistake. I wouldn't do anything ambitious, because that could lead to something very dangerous. And you can just see that Labrosse is coming through. I'm just trying to keep up with the corner names, actually, although there's a lot of kinks between different corners, so I just have to say right-handers and left-handers for now, or kinks or whatever. But Labrosse has got second place right now ahead of Hightower, only half a second clear, but you can just see on the timing tower it's beginning to close in on Crouchfield a little bit. So perhaps this race isn't done and dusted after all.
Right, we're going to see through Flood Pats they go on the run down into Arenberg now, the left-hander. We're on the nose of Pat Labrosse. There is the Corvette of Crouchfield right in front of us, so we're going to be able to make it work. It's Hightower in that BMW, going to be able to close the gap now down into Arenberg. It's all about the brakes here. Down they go through the gears out the other side. Labrosse manages to make it. Crouchfield manages to get through. Hightower gets there as well. Still closing in. It's all about the run to Evan Crouchfield. We've got one more, well, 1.75 laps to go here. How are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to catch up to Crouchfield? Mr. Consistent, consistently at the front. Can he keep that record alive and consistently hold on to this podium place?
Well, he's made no mistakes so far, but, it could just take one mistake to make all the difference here for Crawford, so he needs to not take too many risks at this early stage. You could say that Putnam has got through on the Porsche of Condon for 13th position. He's only a couple of seconds behind. The battle between Kobik, Wacho, and Lamberton. So let's hope to see if he can make some places up after being in the pits at the end of lap 2. And Crawford is still there, but the gap is now 1.5 seconds between him and Labrosse. Labrosse getting the gap down everywhere you look here.
Yeah, he's closing it in. You can see it in the last lap there on lap 2. It was Labrosse who was quicker there, and Crouchfield 7:43.630, 7:40.8. But Pat Labrosse, it was his fastest lap of the race, bar anyone, to be blatantly honest with you. And now that gap's down to a second. It's closing in quite rapidly. It's going to be about what he can do here for Evan Crouchfield. Can he hold on now and do this for the next lap in a little bit? He really is in a spot at the moment, Crouchfield here as well, because he can place his car in the middle of the circuit, which makes it extremely difficult for the cars behind to get past him.
Yeah, well, you can just see that he's placing the car nicely through the corners, and I think he'll know the fact that, given that he's the leader, he'll be at the disadvantage in comparison to Labrosse, because Labrosse can just read into where he is braking and where Labrosse can gain all the time. You can just see he's into the slipstream here, and he may not decide to go for it at the next turn unless he's the bravest driver in the world to do that. Further back, Putnam's got through on Lamberton and Watrow now for 11th position. So he's continuing his fight back, which is great to see. And now they're heading towards the right-hander. I think it's one of the hairpins before coming towards the carousel corner now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it. Into the carousel they got to go. He's got to put it in the dip as Crouchfield, as he's got Labrosse right behind through. They go pop out the other side. Oh, we've got the run here coming into the Whippleman complex. It's going to be right, it's going to be left, up the hill. They're going to be on the brakes, dabbing them a little bit, get that car down into third, left, right, over the curb they go. Now through the right hander here. Good job by Labrosse running it down now into another right-hander. This is quite fast-paced. You left, you lift a little bit, get that car rotated over the curb, then you're coming into the right-hander. This is where it's all going to be on our four. Through Whipperman they go. Now the left-hander here. Down the hill again, left, 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 long left, through the right, and they go once more coming up onto the right-hander into Brunchen before they go through the left-hander here as well. Very difficult circuit, lots of curves from lots of angles here, from the left to the right. There's curbs everywhere here at Nords. It's going to be a tough one for these guys.
Yeah, although it's ill-advised to be using the curves around here, I think the boss is perhaps thinking to himself, well, the curves are helping me somewhat, so I'm just going to continue the way I'm doing it. But to be fair, you can't blame him, because he's trying to gain all the time and pull away from Hightower at the same time. So he can't really afford to back off too much here, does Labrosse. 2 jobs on his hands: keep Hightower behind and close in on Crowfold. Putnam's got through on Krosick now for 10th place, only a couple of seconds behind Hernandez in his own pursuit, and he's doing a fine job recovering from there, actually. But now we're looking at Kubai, who's running in 6th place ahead of Elgstrand, and they're in a tussle themselves before they come on to, they're going through Flowengarten, I think it is. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, apologies about Flowengarten, yeah. They are heading towards the next, it's the Clunes Carousel, isn't it, that they're heading towards? Yeah. Riding over the graffiti there once more. There's all sorts of graffiti around this Nordschleife track. Not sure why it's there, but I'm sure there's many reasons why it is.
Labrosse is through. Labrosse is through. Hightower's going through as well. Down the Dottinger. Can Hightower have the pace over Krautfeld? It looks like he might. Jason Hightower, Evan Krautfeld side by side into Bilston. Keep it clean. This isn't going to work. Down through Tiergarten. Left, right. Hightower does make it through, and the man that spun on lap 1 has taken the lead. And Krautfeld's made a mistake. He's gone off as well at the end of lap 3. That's going to drop him way back now. Way, way back. Steve Kubai is not closing in on Patrick, unfortunately, anymore. And now we've got Putnam closing in on David Anders.
Yep, and Putnam's all over the back of Nunes. I think this will be a textbook overtake here. It should be a slam dunk one for him, but a terrible mistake for Crowfold, who I think got distracted by the fact that Labrosse got by and he didn't know what to do with Hightower. And I think he tried to get back through on Hightower before Tiergarten, and it didn't quite pay off that time around.
All went wrong, unfortunately, for Evan Crowfold. Steve goodbye there. Just past Patrick Elstrand. They're still running side by side. On to the final lap we go. Pat Labrosse out in front, makes a mistake, drops down the order, comes back through, retakes the lead. We've got Kubai and Elstrand side by side going into turn 1. Still not over though. We've seen it with leaders here. It's still not over. Whoa, big lock up from Kubai.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. He looks like he was pulling on side and got the rear brakes locked, or the rear tyres locked, and yeah, he was well out of shape there. And Elstrand did his best to avoid him, which he did. And so they carry on in their battle for 6th place, as we are now on the final lap here. The gap between Labrosse and Hightower is 1.4 seconds. It's far from over, James.
Yeah, I can't really see this one really finishing yet. I think with the amount of people that have been in the lead, been out of the lead, been in the lead, been out the lead, I think anything can still happen to Pat Labrosse. Not that I'm wishing it does by any form of the imagination, because I really hope it doesn't, and I hope he comes through and does a great recovery drive and retakes the win here for Pat Labrosse. But I can tell you one thing, Hightower in that BMW is not going to give up. Krautfeld behind it, Stas behind that, Matt Green, Elgstrack, Kubai, Sadler, Putnam just making the top 10 now. A lot still to come, and we've still got another lap to go.
Yeah, well, this is the last lap anyway, but we've still got around about something like 10 miles of this race left. So Labrosse just needs to get his head down and just focus on his own driving, really. Don't worry too much about Hightower. He just needs to sort of look around. I mean, he's been around the lap now 3 times already, along with all the practice he's been doing, so he should know his way around this circuit. He's got the track map in front of him, I would presume, as well. And yeah, he just needs keep his focus intact all the way until the checkered flag. The closest battle we've got at the moment is between Goodbye and Sadler for 7th place. Putnam's closing is less than 4 seconds off that battle, so he'll be in the fight sooner rather than later. There's no question about that.
No, it's still not done. Putnam shot into the pits and come back out the pits the other side. So we'll keep an eye and see how he goes. The gap's now 2.2, 2.1. Hightower's got a job on his hands here. I just don't know if he's got the pace to keep up. He's made a mistake coming out there. That's going to hinder him as well. Dave Mole closing in on Benjamin Lamberton on that run down into Arenberg. That very tricky right-hander. It's a downhill braking. It's not easy. The Porsche lifting off a little bit there. Around the double right we go. Here we go once more. Into Cottonbourne, down through now into Arenberg. It's got to be hard on the brakes. You've got to spot your braking point here, Tom. This is not an easy corner by any shape of the imagination.
No, and it's kind of difficult to know where you need to brake. And the driver behind us have said before, will have the advantage to read into what will happen, and that's an example of it.
There you can see Lambert, big lock up going into Arenberg there. Dave Mole tucks in now as well. He's got to chase him through this run. Can Mole make the move, Tom, before he gets onto the dot and the hoe, or is he waiting for Lamberton to make a mistake?
I think he's waiting for Lamberton to make a mistake. It's too risky to even try and attempt a genuine overtake. Or you can say that, and it's one round there has Lamberton.
Well, there you go. There's a mistake from Benjamin Lamberton. All done. It's Dave Mole's through. Just as we were talking about whether or not he's going to make a mistake, well, we did, and unfortunately, that is put him now well away from Mole. Mole's got a clean run to wrap up that 13th place. Not going to catch Watcho. Watcho's 10 seconds up the road. Hernandez is 3 up in front of that. Kabai's 2.5. Putnam's 4. Sadler's 1. Elstrat, you see the guys all in front. Putnam might be able to get Sadler, but that could possibly be one of the only overtakes that get made here. Sadler on Elstrat, possibly, but it's going to be a great last lap anyway.
Now, Putnam determined to get at least 6th position. He won't catch Green, who's in 5th. I think Green's on his own now. He'll just want to get the car home. And it looks like LeBros has this one sewn up, but a lot can still change in the second half of this last lap. And this 14-mile course, maybe just under that actually, given that the Dunlop curve and the Schumacher Essa, which is around the original Nurburgring circuit, I say original, the modern day Nurburgring circuit, is not in use for this race. I can imagine Putnam's going to go through it. Yeah, he's gone through yet. Yeah, that's because Sadler made a mistake a few corners before. But that tells you about Putnam's determination here.
Yeah, he's in that forward as well. I can give you an exact length of the circuit you want. It's 15.18 miles, 24.43 kilometres. It includes the 154 corners of the Nords, plus the 7 corners of the stadium section, which is Sprint Circuit plus the Mercedes Arena, totaling about 162 corners. Now, if it was the full Nürburgring circuit plus the Nordschleife, it would be over 174 corners that these guys are put to complete. But it isn't. Putnam has just got to put it in the wall again after doing a great overtake on Mr. Sutton. Poor old Rick Putnam having a bit of a mare trying to come back through. But at the moment, Pat LeBros coming up into Klein's Carousel for the final time here and has done a great job so far, I think we can safely say, Tom.
Yeah, he hasn't got too much to do now, although Hightower's getting the gap down to 1.7 seconds every corner they are going through. So that battle is far from over. Putnam, I think, only hit the barrier square on with these with the side of the car, so it's not too much damage, I don't think, for him. He's got 1.7 seconds to make up on Elstrand for 6th place, so it is still possible for him to take that away from him. But going back to Pat LeBros, the man from Canada, he's going to go onto the long straight that does have a few kinks involved in it, with Tiergarten included. And yeah, I think it looks like he's got this one all but wrapped up, unless he makes the same mistakes what Crawford did the lap before.
Yeah, 1.7 miles of the dot in the hoe plus the kink on the end takes it to about 2 miles of this run of straight into Tiergarten under the Bilston. We're going to go first. Now we're into Tiergarten in the section here as well. He's got a left, a right, a left, a right, a left. And then he's on his way here for Pat Labrosse. He made a mistake. He come back through the order. He covered from 5th, I believe, at one point for Pat Labrosse. But he's going to go over the line. He's going to take round 8. Here's Pat Labrosse. Great job from him. Finished it, did Mr. Labrosse. And an excellent job from Jason Hightower in 2nd. Evan Krautfield's going to come over the line in 3rd. And there he goes, flashing the lights from Mr. Krautfield. Then Corey Stas will be in that Ford there in 5th. Ford's having a bit of a rough one after being up near the front. What about Matt Green? He's going to come over the line. He's going to take 5th place. Elstrad and Putnam are going to be running behind each other now into Tiergarten we go. It's going to be Elstrad's going to hold on, I believe. Not going to be any problems. Is he going to manage it? He is going to manage it, I think. Down through the right, now he's got left, and it looks like Elstrad's going to get the job done. What's going to happen with Hernandez here and Kabai? Kabai's in the Ford. Hernandez is going for it. He's on the outside. Oh, there was contact with David Hernandez in the wall. Last corner, last lap. Hernandez goes to try and send it. Gets it all wrong there, Tom. Oh, poor old David Hernandez. His car's been absolutely battered.
Yeah, I thought he was entitled to more space there. That was really unlucky. And falling down the field right at the end at the worst possible time.
Oh.
And a drag race to the line between Kobik and Rucho. Just 0.028 of a second, I think that is.
It
was, very close.
0.028 there, Lambert. And after making a mistake, he's going to come over the line. And then we've got the likes of AJ Condon and Dylan Hesseling for a long way back. Dylan's got a long way to go in that BMW, but you've got to give Hernandez his due, right? You know, all or nothing, last lap, last corner, go for it.
Yeah, well, he'll regret losing those points there, I would imagine, Will Hernandez, but he gave it a good go nevertheless. Hesseling a long way back as is Condon. They've both been in the pits at some point during this, but they'll just be happy to bring the cars home and score some important points. We'll run down on the championship standings after the last two there. Oh, and Hesseling is having another mare there, and that just sums up the Nordschleife round for him. He'll just want this race to be over, doesn't he?
Yeah, next time out, though, don't forget, round 9 is a VW Jetta at just the Nords layout. So if you haven't seen the ring runners, it is literally Nords combined, Nords Grand Prix, Nords VLN, all the Nord circuits across the calendar. It's just the car that is changing, okay? So it's just the car. So next week is, well, it'll be recorded on Thursday. This week will be the VW Jettas. And then they've got the Super Formula Lights actually being done Wednesday. So that could be an interesting one to see how the Super Formula Lights get on there as well. But, yeah, but now, next week, or Thursday will be the VW Jettas as Dylan Hesseling's going to come over the line and finish off what has been an absolute epic evening of racing. Let's bring you up the final results here. Pat Labrosse is your winner with Jason Hightower in 2nd and Evan Krautfield 3rd. Then Corey Stas, Matt Green, Patrick Elstrad, Rick Putnam recovers to 7th. Scott Sadler 8th, Steve Goodbye 9th, and Dan Kosick 10th. Then we've got Tim Watcho, David Mole, David Anders, Benjamin Lambert, and AJ Condon, Dylan Hesseling, Patrick Mesak, and Alexandra Patash there, who did not finish, and neither did Jamie Bender. Let's see what that's done for the championship standards. This is before round 9, but at the end of round 8, Evan Krautfield is your leader on 145, with Corey Stas on 101. Then Dave Moe in 3rd, and Matt Green rounding out 3rd and 4th. They're tied on points there. Hightower moved himself up into 5th. Scott Sadler, Ray Tio, Dan Kosick, David Anders, and Tim Watcho round out the top 10. Then Rick Putnam, Dean Dills, Pat Labrosse, Chase Petterjohn, Steve Kabai, Alexandra Bettas, Pat Mesek, and Benjamin Lambert round out the top 18. And then on behind that, Pat Elstrad. Then you've got Aaron Smith, AJ Condon, Connor Acatella, Lance Keltner, Dylan Hesseling, Jamie Bender, Adam Wing, Martin Connors, Nathan Connors, Cameron Bailey, Cody Whitaker, Steph Ragona, Eric Killian, and Bertolucci rounding out the 34, I believe, drivers here. Let's have a look back at some of the highlights. Well, I suppose we'll start off with poor old Mr. Jamie Bender here, Tom. Had a bit of a rough one all the way through this, made a mistake, and this was what seemed to be race ending.
Yeah, and that's the disadvantage of being by yourself around the circuit. And for Bender, that was an early end to his race and one to forget. So that race, I think, will go in the bin for him, as will the car itself. But I'm sure he'll bounce back the next time he's on circuit. And this is who we're looking at here.
Putnam,
Is this Putnam?
Yeah, this is Putnam. It's one we just caught there. Unfortunately for Rick Putnam, he was off the circuit. I did want to have a look at just how Pat LaBrosse ended up going a little bit wrong. This was actually after his initial run. Have a look at his first one. And this is first incident with Pat as well. Comes into the chicane and at the back end of that Corvette just steps out, misses everybody, and down the border. So unfortunately for him, not a good one. We've seen Rick Putnam's and we've seen Jamie Bender's unfortunately having his own little incident here, Tom. And this is what happened to Corey Stas.
Here's what he did. And I don't know if we saw this in real time, but that's a strange spin to have.
Now he hit the curb coming out the corner, unfortunately for Corey, and the back end just got loose and spun round. It manages to keep it out of the wall though, which is great. This is Watcho and AJ Condon. I'm wondering if these two had a little bit of an incident in together. I think, whoa, there goes AJ off the side of circuit. Tim Watcho was another one. Fortunately for Tim, that's going to be tough. He hit the curb. Very tough corner that, Tom. Very, very tough corner.
Yeah, it's not a corner that you really want to go through by yourself. And you're looking at Dave Hernandez here going through. Don't know which corner this is exactly.
It's not long after the same one we just looked at.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, got that wrong. Well, Eric's saw real time, and Burton's we saw real time. We didn't see what happened to Patrick Message. Apart from the fact he's just had a ouch.
He caught the grass.
Yep. Unfortunately for him. And then I've got to have a look back at Dave Hernandez's last attempt on the final lap. He gave it a go, and he goes for a gap. Was he alongside though, Tom? That's going to be the question.
Well, I think I stand by the fact that if your car is within a car's length alongside, I think you are entitled to a little bit more space than what Hernandez has got.
Okay, well, we'll see how these guys decide on that one. I'm sure it should be all right. Don't forget, guys, this will go live. It will be live at the time you're watching, and then we're going to have round 9. Will be recorded on Thursday, and that will go live on Thursday night. But that's going to wrap it up now as well. Hope you enjoyed round 8. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns. And as always, guys, take care. Have a great week. And you never know. See you on the track sometime. Good night.